Morning rituals. The sunbathers of the rebirth day for a crocodile begins not with a hunt, but with warmth. As cold-blooded reptiles, crocodiles cannot regulate their own body temperature. Instead, they rely on the environment. At dawn, when mist still hangs low over the river, crocodiles emerge from the water. Their massive bodies glide silently toward the muddy banks, climbing onto sandbars or flat rocks. There, they lie motionless, mouths agape, as though frozen in time. To the untrained eye, this may seem like laziness, but it is survival. By exposing the lining of their mouths, they release excess heat, preventing overheating as they absorb the sun's energy. For hours, dozens of crocodiles may bask together in eerie silence. Not a sound, not a twitch, only the occasional flick of a tail or the slow blink of an eye. The riverbank becomes a living fortress of scaled giants, and yet, behind the stillness, every crocodile is watching. Every movement in the reeds, every splash of a fish, every bird swooping too close, it all enters their awareness. Even in their calmest state, crocodiles are predators. The hunt masters of patience, and ambush and hunger awakens. Patience transforms into deadly precision. Unlike lions that chase or wolves that run down prey, crocodiles rely on stillness. They are ambush predators. They wait and wait, sometimes for hours, sometimes for days. Picture the great rivers of Africa during the wildebeest migration. Tens of thousands of animals gather at the river's edge. The herd hesitates, knowing the danger that lurks beneath the surface. Dust swirls, hooves thunder. Finally, one animal leaps and the rest follow in a frenzy of splashing chaos. To the wildebeests, the river is an obstacle. To the crocodiles, it is a trap. From beneath the muddy water, the predators explode upward. Jaws snap shut with thunderous force, clamping onto legs, throats, or flanks. The victims thrash in panic, but resistance is futile. A single adult Nile crocodile may weigh nearly half a ton, sheer bulk impossible to shake off. And then comes the infamous move, the death roll. With terrifying speed, the crocodile spins its entire body, twisting with such violence that flesh tears and bones snap. The water churns red. The hunt is swift, brutal, and decisive. For the crocodile, this is a meal that may last weeks. For the wildebeest, it is the end of the line, but not every hunt ends in success. Many animals cross safely, escaping the lurking jaws. That, too, is part of the crocodile's strategy. It can afford to wait. Hunger does not drive it into reckless action. It waits for certainty, the feast eating like an ancient beast since the prey is subdued. The crocodile does not chew. Its teeth are designed for gripping, not slicing. Instead, the predator thrashes its head violently, ripping chunks of flesh, swallowing them whole. What cannot be eaten immediately is stored. Crocodiles are opportunists. They gorge when food is plentiful, and when it is not, they can survive for months without a meal. Their metabolism slows their bodies, conserving every ounce of energy. This feast or famine lifestyle is the secret behind their survival. Where other predators starve, the crocodile endures. Life in the river territory and conflict. Crocodiles may share basking spots, but make no mistake, they are solitary hunters and fiercely territorial. Large males rule stretches of river, defending them from rivals. Battles between giants are brutal displays of dominance, snapping jaws, thrashing tails, water erupting in waves of violence. Sometimes, these fights leave scars, torn limbs, or even death. But more often, one challenger backs down, slipping silently away to find another domain. Hierarchy is strict. The largest males dominate prime hunting grounds, while smaller crocodiles must skulk along the edges, waiting for scraps or hunting smaller prey. In the crocodile's world, size truly is power. Yet, amid this harsh world of violence and survival, there is one place where crocodiles reveal a gentler side: motherhood. When the season is right, a female crocodile scrapes together a nest of mud, sand, and vegetation. She lays her eggs, sometimes 40, 60, even 80, burying them beneath the warm earth. For the next 3 months, she remains close, guarding the nest with surprising devotion. When the hatchlings are ready, they call. From within their eggs, a high-pitched chirp that summons their mother. With her powerful jaws, she gently digs them free, sometimes even carrying the tiny young in her mouth to the water. Imagine it, the same mouth that can crush bone now cradles fragile hatchlings with infinite care. But life for baby crocodiles is perilous. Birds, fish, and even other crocodiles prey on them. Only a handful will survive to adulthood, and yet, thanks to their mother's protection in those early days, their chances are far greater than if they were left alone. From hatchling to apex predator, a crocodile's journey is long. The young must learn to hunt small fish and insects, always alert for danger. As they grow, so too does their power. By the age of 10, a crocodile may already be 2 meters long. By 20, it is a formidable predator. And with each year, survival becomes easier. Few animals dare to challenge a fully grown crocodile. In the water, it is king. Even lions and hippos think twice before provoking one of these armored beasts. With a lifespan that can stretch beyond 70 years, some crocodiles live long enough to witness generations of prey come and go. They are, in every sense, the timeless rulers of their domain. Crocodiles and humans throughout history, few animals have inspired as much awe and terror as the crocodile. To some, it was a god. To others, a demon of the waters. And to countless human lives along the rivers and lakes of the world, the crocodile was, and still is, a deadly neighbor. In ancient Egypt, the Nile was life itself. Its floods fed the land, its waters sustained the people. But the Nile was also home to the crocodile, a predator that struck fear into every fisherman and farmer. Rather than merely fear them, the Egyptians worshipped them. The crocodile became a god, Sobek, lord of the waters, protector of the pharaohs, bringer of fertility and strength. Temples were built in Sobek's honor. Priests raised live crocodiles inside sacred pools, adorning them with jewels, feeding them with the best offerings. When these crocodiles died, they were mummified, wrapped carefully, and buried with reverence. To worship Sobek was to acknowledge the power of the river, the terror of the predator, and the balance between life and death. Legends across the world, but Egypt was not alone in giving the crocodile a place in myth. In Aboriginal Australian stories, crocodiles were ancient beings who shaped rivers and swamps. Some tribes believed that the scars on a crocodile's back were burn marks from when it stole fire from the people. In India, the gharial and the mugger crocodile appear in Hindu mythology as vahanas, or divine vehicles, for river gods like Ganga and Varuna. In West African folklore, crocodiles were sometimes seen as ancestral spirits, protectors of villages, but also as tricksters, capable of both saving and destroying humans. In Southeast Asia, tales of man-eating crocodiles blended with ghost stories. Villagers whispered of sorcerers who could transform into crocodiles to take revenge. Everywhere they lived, crocodiles entered the human imagination as symbols of power, danger, and the thin line between survival and death. Fear and survival, but myths were not enough to protect those who lived near crocodiles. For fishing communities, farmers, and travelers, the crocodile was not just a legend. It was a constant threat. Silent, invisible, capable of striking in an instant, crocodiles became the perfect embodiment of fear itself. Unlike lions or tigers, which roar and prowl, the crocodile lurks. You never hear it coming. You never see it until it is too late. Even today, crocodile attacks are tragically common. In Africa and Southeast Asia, thousands of people are killed every year by Nile and saltwater crocodiles. Some rivers are notorious. Villagers avoid them at night, knowing that death waits just beneath the surface. Tales of encounter history is filled with chilling accounts of human encounters with crocodiles. In the 19th century, British explorers traveling the Nile recorded terrifying stories. Boats overturned, men dragged beneath the water, entire hunting expeditions ambushed. One account tells of a soldier washing his clothes along the riverbank. In seconds, a crocodile lunged, clamped onto his leg, and pulled him into the depths. His comrades could only watch the bubbles rise. During World War II, one of the most infamous events occurred on Ramree Island, Burma 1945. Japanese soldiers retreating through mangrove swamps entered crocodile-infested waters. Survivors later told stories of soldiers screaming in the night, dragged away by massive saltwater crocodiles. Estimates vary wildly, but the legend endures. It is remembered as one of the deadliest crocodile attacks on humans in recorded history. Even in modern times, there are stories. In Australia, saltwater crocodiles stalk fishermen who venture too close to the water's edge. In Africa, villagers crossing rivers are taken every year. In Papua New Guinea, local tribes tell of giant crocodiles that guard sacred swamps, devouring anyone who dares trespass. The balance between respect and fear for humans living with crocodiles has always meant finding balance. You cannot tame them. You cannot predict them. You can only respect their power. In some cultures, crocodiles are hunted for their skins, their meat, their teeth. In others, they are protected, seen as sacred guardians of the waters. But everywhere, they demand caution. Step too close, and the crocodile reminds us why it has survived for over 200 million years. The crocodile as a monster. Over time, crocodiles became more than animals. They became monsters in our imagination. Writers and explorers described them as dragons of the rivers. In medieval maps, crocodiles were drawn alongside serpents and sea beasts, guardians of unknown waters. In stories, they swallowed men whole, waited outside villages to snatch children, haunted the dreams of those who lived near rivers. And yet, the crocodile's monstrous image also carries fascination. We fear them, but we cannot look away. They embody something ancient in us, a primal recognition of danger, a respect for predators that remind us of our fragility. Conservation and conflicts. In the ancient world, crocodiles were gods and monsters. In modern times, they became something else entirely: resources to be exploited, pests to be exterminated, and eventually symbols of conservation. The relationship between humans and crocodiles has never been simple. It is a story written in blood, in greed, in survival, and in hope. The hunt for skins. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, crocodiles faced a new threat: humans armed not with spears, but with guns. Hunters no longer feared crocodiles. They hunted them, not for food or survival, but for fashion. The crocodile's tough, ridged skin, once admired as armor in legends, became prized material for handbags, shoes, belts, and wallets. A single high-quality crocodile skin could fetch a fortune. This demand led to mass slaughter. In Africa, Asia, and the Americas, rivers ran red as hunters shot or trapped crocodiles by the thousands. Entire populations were wiped out. By the mid-20th century, many species of crocodiles teetered on the edge of extinction. The Philippine crocodile was nearly gone. The Orinoco crocodile of South America dwindled to only a few hundred individuals. Even the mighty saltwater crocodile, the largest reptile on Earth, suffered devastating declines. The ancient survivors, who had outlasted the dinosaurs, now faced their greatest threat: human greed. Habitat. Under Sigibet hunting was not the only danger. Crocodiles depend on rivers, swamps, and wetlands. Ecosystems increasingly destroyed by human development. Dams diverted rivers. Swamps were drained for farmland. Cities grew, pushing into crocodile territory. The waters that had sustained these predators for millions of years shrank, dirtied, or disappeared altogether. And where crocodiles remained, they clashed with the new neighbors: fishermen who lost nets and catches, farmers who lost livestock, villagers who lost family members. The conflict became personal, bitter, and violent. The war on crocodiles. In many parts of the world, crocodiles were seen not as wildlife, but as enemies. Communities organized hunts to drive them out. Bounties were placed on their heads. Stories spread of crocodiles stealing children, devouring cattle lurking at riverbanks. For some, killing crocodiles became a tradition, even a point of pride. To destroy a giant reptile was to prove dominance over nature, Yet the more humans killed, the more dangerous encounters became. As habitats shrank, crocodiles and humans were forced closer together. Attacks continued, fueling a vicious cycle of fear and retaliation. The rise of conservation. But then, something remarkable happened. By the mid-20th century, the world began to realize what it was losing. Scientists, naturalists, and conservationists raised the alarm. They showed that crocodiles were not monsters, but essential parts of ecosystems. As apex predators, they controlled populations of fish and animals, keeping rivers balanced. Remove the crocodiles, and chaos followed. Overfishing, collapsing wetlands, spreading disease. Governments began to act. International agreements, like CITES, the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species, restricted the trade of crocodile skins. Sanctuaries were established. Breeding programs began. In Australia, the saltwater crocodile was declared a protected species in 1971. At the time, numbers had fallen dangerously low, but under protection, populations rebounded. Today, the saltwater crocodile is once again thriving across northern Australia, a symbol of conservation success. In India, national parks like the Chambal Sanctuary were created to protect gharials and mugger crocodiles. In Central and South America, captive breeding projects helped bring back the Orinoco and Cayman species. Slowly, the tide began to turn. Coexistence or conflict? Yet conservation is never simple. Protecting crocodiles means protecting predators that sometimes kill people. In villages along the Nile, in fishing towns of Indonesia, in Australian river communities, the same question arises: how can humans live with such dangerous neighbors? Some governments promote education, teaching villagers where not to swim, how to avoid nesting areas, and how to respect the crocodile's territory. Others invest in fences, barriers, or patrols to reduce attacks. But even with these efforts, tragedies occur. Each death renews anger, and sometimes, locals demand culls. Conservationists face a delicate balance, protecting both people and predators. Farming. The predatory controversial solution has been crocodile farming. Instead of wiping out wild populations, humans breed crocodiles in captivity for their skins and meat. On farms in Thailand, Australia, and Africa, thousands of crocodiles are raised behind fences. Their skins are harvested legally, reducing pressure on wild populations. In some regions, communities even benefit financially, giving them a reason to support conservation. Critics argue it is cruel. Supporters argue it is practical. Either way, it has helped save wild crocodiles from total destruction. The future threats even as conservation succeeds, new dangers rise. Climate change alters rainfall patterns, shrinking wetlands and disturbing breeding cycles. Pollution poisons rivers, killing both crocodiles and their prey. And then there is human expansion. As the global population grows, more rivers are dammed, more coasts are settled, more wetlands are drained. For the crocodile, survival has always meant adaptation. But how much can even the oldest predator endure? The legacy of the crocodile for over 200 million years. Crocodiles have ruled rivers, lakes, and swamps. They have outlived dinosaurs, witnessed continents drift apart, and watched humanity rise. They are predators, monsters, survivors, and guardians. But above all, crocodiles carry with them a legacy, one that speaks not only of the past, but also of the future. When we look at a crocodile, we are looking at time itself. The jagged ridges on its back, the cold yellow eyes, the armored scales, all of it is a blueprint written in an ancient language of survival. Scientists call them living fossils, but that term is too simple. Fossils are dead stones, silent and still. Crocodiles, on the other hand, are alive, still moving, still hunting, still breathing the same air as us. They are not relics of the past, but bridges across eras. Each crocodile that slides silently into the water is carrying the memory of an Earth we can scarcely imagine, a world of towering reptiles, primeval swamps, and endless struggle. And yet, here it remains, unchanged, unstoppable, This timeless power has made crocodiles irresistible to human culture. In films and documentaries, they appear as symbols of fear and fascination. From the exaggerated monsters of Hollywood horror to the reverent images in nature films, crocodiles hold our imagination captive. Children's stories transform them into characters, sometimes villains, sometimes tricksters, sometimes even unlikely heroes. In adventure tales, they lurk in rivers waiting for explorers. In cartoons, they snap their jaws in playful menace. Even in everyday speech, crocodiles live on. We talk about crocodile tears, about false emotion. We speak of having thick skin like a crocodile. They have become metaphors as much as animals. Perhaps the most striking part of the crocodile's legacy is how it embodies contradiction. It is feared, a stealthy killer that drags humans into the depths. It is respected, a creature so perfectly adapted that even science marvels at its endurance. Unlike lions or eagles, which inspire admiration without fear, crocodiles live in a strange balance in our minds. We do not seek to tame them, nor do we wish to destroy them entirely. Instead, we live in wary coexistence, acknowledging their right to exist while never forgetting the danger they pose. This tension reflects something deep within us, the recognition that nature is not ours to control. Some creatures remain forever wild, forever beyond the reach of human dominance. The crocodile is one of them. What, then, can we learn from the crocodile? From its patience, we learn the power of silence, of waiting for the right moment instead of rushing blindly. From its resilience, we learn that survival comes not from strength alone, but from adaptability, from bending without breaking. From its long history, we learn humility, for our species is young compared to theirs, and our future far less certain. The crocodile teaches us that dominance is not permanent, that life is not guaranteed, and that only those who adapt endure. The legacy of the crocodile is not only about the past, it is also about the choices we make now. Will crocodiles continue to thrive alongside us, symbols of wild resilience, or will they fall, victims of pollution, climate change, and human expansion? The answer lies with us. Protecting crocodiles is not just about saving a predator, it is about protecting rivers, wetlands, and entire ecosystems. It is about preserving the ancient rhythm of life that sustains us all. If crocodiles disappear, it will not only be their story that ends, it will be a sign that we too have lost balance with the natural world. So, what is the legacy of the crocodile? It is the legacy of survival against impossible odds. It is the legacy of awe and fear, of gods and monsters. It is the legacy of a predator that demands respect, even from the most powerful of humans. As long as crocodiles slip silently beneath the waters, as long as their eyes rise above the surface at dusk, as long as their thunderous jaws snap shut in the darkness, the world will remember that we share this planet with something ancient, something untamed, something eternal. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the world of crocodiles. From their prehistoric origins to their modern struggles, from the myths that surround them to the lessons they teach us, the crocodile stands as one of Earth's greatest survivors. Here at TVP Wildlife, we believe that to understand the crocodile is to understand nature itself. Raw, dangerous, but also beautiful and worthy of protection. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Together, let us continue to discover the wild, the mysterious, and the extraordinary. Until next time, this is TVP Wildlife, reminding you, the night is never silent, the rivers are never empty, and the wild is always closer than you think. Welcome back to TVP Wildlife, the place where we bring you closer to the most extraordinary creatures on our planet. Today, we are about to embark on a journey into the world of an animal that has haunted human imagination for millennia. A creature with eyes that glow above murky waters, jaws that snap with bone-crushing force, and patience that can outlast the bravest of hunters. Yes, today, we meet the crocodile, a living relic from the age of dinosaurs. A creature from deep time imagine standing on the banks of an African river as the sun sets. The air is thick, heavy with heat, and insects dance above the water. Suddenly, you notice a ripple. At first, it looks like just another wave, but then you see it. Two unblinking eyes, fixed upon you. What you are looking at is not simply an animal. It is the descendant of one of Earth's oldest lineages. Crocodiles have been here for over 200 million years, long before humans, before lions, even before most mammals. They walked the earth alongside dinosaurs. While great reptiles like the T-Rex fell into extinction, crocodiles endured. Their survival story is one of adaptation, patience, and sheer evolutionary perfection. Fossil records reveal creatures known as crocodilomorphs, ancestors of modern crocodiles that once roamed in a wide variety of forms. Some were small and agile, running on land like wolves. Others grew massive, dominating rivers and swamps. One of the most terrifying was Deinosuchus, a prehistoric crocodile that reached lengths of up to 10 meters and preyed on dinosaurs themselves. So when we see a crocodile today, we are not just looking at an animal. We are staring into the face of prehistory itself, a predator designed by time, honed by evolution, and untouched by the passage of ages. Anatomy of a predator. At first glance, a crocodile may seem like a sluggish reptile, basking in the sun with its mouth open, but beneath that armored body lies an intricate design, perfected for survival. Its skin is not just tough, it is armor made of bony plates called osteoderms. These act like a shield, protecting the crocodile from attacks and even bullets in some cases. The jaws are perhaps the most fearsome weapon in the animal kingdom. A Nile crocodile can slam its mouth shut with the force of over 3,500 pounds per square inch, enough to crush bone with ease. Interestingly, while their closing power is unmatched, the muscles that open their jaws are so weak that a person can hold them shut with just tape or even bare hands. But nature gave the crocodile something even more sinister: stealth. Their eyes, ears, and nostrils sit on top of the head, allowing them to remain almost completely submerged while still sensing the world above. To a wildebeest stepping into the river, the water may look calm, but beneath the surface, death waits. Inside, their heart is unlike that of most reptiles. Crocodiles have a unique four-chambered heart, similar to birds and mammals, which allows them to efficiently use oxygen. This adaptation lets them stay underwater for up to an hour, waiting motionless for the perfect moment to strike. Masters of water and land, crocodiles are not fast runners for long distances, but in short bursts, they can surprise even the quickest prey. On land, they can sprint up to 17 kilometers per hour, about 11 miles per hour. In water, they are silent assassins, propelled by their muscular tails. But perhaps their greatest weapon is patience. A crocodile will wait for hours, even days, at the edge of a riverbank, perfectly still till the right moment arrives. This patience is not laziness. It is strategy. It is survival. The difference between crocodiles and their kinmany. People confuse crocodiles with alligators, caimans, and gharials. While they share a family bond, each has its own story. Alligators have wider, U-shaped snouts and are mostly found in the United States and China. Caimans are their South American cousins, smaller but equally fierce. Gharials, with their long, thin snouts, are fish specialists of the Indian rivers. Crocodiles, however, are the most widespread, found across Africa, Asia, the Americas, and Australia. Their V-shaped snouts and visible fourth tooth on the lower jaw distinguish them from the rest. What makes crocodiles so resilient? Why did they survive when so many other reptiles vanished? The answer lies in their adaptability. Crocodiles can live in rivers, lakes, swamps, even saltwater coasts. They can eat almost anything: fish, birds, mammals, carrion. When food is scarce, they can slow their metabolism, surviving months without eating. In short, crocodiles are opportunists. They are survivors. They are the ultimate evolutionary success story.